Hi everyone. Today I've been thinking a lot on personal will and the ability to internally drive yourself to do something. And this thinking kind of just came about after my family and I went to go watch this Indian movie called Dangal. And this movie is basically about um, two girls that end up being coached by their father that used to be into wrestling but never won the gold medal of an international competition and really wanted it for them. And so, the father coached them, taught them every day, made them wake up at 5 a.m., watch their diet, everything, and got them to where they were. And they ended up winning the gold medal of the international competition, both of them. Not the same year, obviously, but only like 4 years apart. And it was a true story. But it made me really think about how people can drive your will. Like if the girl in the movie didn't have her father as this role model and coach to tell her, hey, you need to wake up every day and keep on track with this diet, this workout, this plan. Like, you need to keep your mind straight and focused on wrestling. How would she have gotten to where she is? And I'm not saying that, you can't internally do something, but it was interesting to see that for her personally, she wasn't really interested in wrestling in the beginning, honestly. Like, if you watch the movie, you can tell that she just wasn't into it, and her father actually forced her to do it because, you know, he wanted to make something out of her. He didn't want her to be just like every other woman in their town that, grows up, becomes at a certain age, gets married off, and does cooking and cleaning and raises another kid. He wanted her to be someone, and so he was like, why don't you do wrestling? But anyway, that's besides the point. Though she didn't have that, it wasn't really exhibited. I'm sure she has personal will. um, it wasn't exhibited where it showed that she had to do it like internally. There was a coach and a mentor that helped her keep her mind focused. But like, I was thinking about it, and if people have this internal goal in mind that they want to accomplish, is it easier for them to talk to someone about it so that it's like official and they'll keep doing it? Or is it better for them to keep it internal? Like, how often is something that you keep inside of yourself completed? Because for her, this dream of hers was actually shared with her sister and her dad, and so it was easier for her to keep going with this like drive to get this medal because there were people that were relying on her, right? But other people, sometimes they talk to someone else and they're like, okay, I have this obligation now that I've said it out loud. Like, if I tell you something, like if I have a New Year's resolution and I tell the entire world about it, I have this obligation, this liability to complete whatever that resolution was. But then you think, okay, so how strong can it be if you just keep it inside of yourself? Like, how many of us have told ourselves that we're going to do something and then not completed it? Like, it's weaker, right? But I was also thinking about it, and like through personal experience, there was something that happened to me where I was like, I am going to do this, and and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep going every day, even though like there's something about this thing that I didn't like, and I kept going with it for months and months and months. And then I was like, and I kept it all internal, like all the things that I didn't like about it. So then, if anyone asked, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this, and you keep going with it. This is very vague, but it was it was like a school activity, and I kept doing it for an entire year, right? But I didn't like it, and I didn't tell anyone that I didn't like it because that was something that I kept inside of me. And then after a couple of months, I told someone, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And that ended up kind of shifting the game for me. Like, it didn't seem like something that I was forced to now internally keep going with. I actually had the opposite experience of what I thought should happen. I thought if you tell someone else, they're going to try to solidify what you said. And if you tell someone you're doing something, you're going to want to keep doing it. For me, it waived my confidence in this internal will. And I actually ended up, I'm going to spoil it. I actually ended up leaving this activity. So, how does it work? I'm curious. How does will work? Like the courage, not courage exactly, but just the drive personal drive to do something? Does it help to just keep it internal? Does it help to tell someone? Because when you think you tell someone, you have an obligation. But me personally, I've told someone and I actually ended up not fulfilling what I internally thought I would be doing. It's just an interesting concept. Like, all these musicians, athletes, and anyone that really just has to prepare to do whatever they're doing well needs a coach, needs someone outside of them to support them, because sometimes they don't think they can do it themselves. And I think that's such an important thing. Like, we humans are such social beings, and we need that, outer support system. And if you don't have that, it's difficult to keep your like motivation, focus on track. But also, what about all those other people that have this internal drive that they don't have to share with everyone? These people that they can get things done just because they put their mind to it, and they don't need outside support to keep them focused because they can do it themselves. Like, what is the difference, and how do you categorize that? How do you know you're from your one side of or the other side, and what makes you a part of the other? Like, I'm just mind blown by the fact that I'd never thought about this before. It's such an interesting concept. Like, I hope I have experience in all types of things, just so I can understand like how my brain works and how like strong our drive could be for something, whether it be for like love or a sport or some goal that we have in mind. Like, how what are the odds of like keeping our goal if we have, I don't know, like these New Year's resolution? It's something to think about, especially in January, So that's what I'm thinking about. That movie definitely inspired this entire talk, if that made any sense. But yeah, personal will and drive. Very interesting concepts that I'm still trying to figure out. But I will definitely talk about it later if I figure something else out. Yeah, cool.